Hello, my name is Lisbeth Salgado Perez, and today I'm going to present a topic of studying in the Master of English in the University EX. I'm going to share my screen. The topic is design and adaptation of material. This is the chapter number 4. Be a star. Introduction. In this chapter, we are going to concentrate on the main issues in design of English language teaching materials. It will be considered issues in the adaptation of material and summarize the whole subject by bringing together the process of design, evaluation, and adaptation of material as a cycle of activity. The first topic is, what is a language learning task? And it says that the definition. In this definition, it is defined by 4 components: the goals, the input, the activities used for teachers and learners, according to Noonan. Okay, we start with the first one, goals. Goals serve as a point of contact between the curriculum or syllabus and the classroom. Input, the data that form the point of departure for the task. Activities, what learners will actually do with the input. Learner role, contribution that learners can make to the learning process. Teacher role, the status of function of the teacher. And the setting, classroom arrangement specified or implied in the task. These are the compounds of the language learning. Now, top down or bottom up? One of the main issues in task designs come from the knowledge we have gained through research into how language is processed in real time, but in production and reception. Language processing has come to be thought of involving top-down processing. On the other hand, bottom-up process focuses on the various components of the language and the aim to fit these together in comprehending languages. The real world or pedagogical task. What's the difference? A difference in the time of learning opportunities created by material is characterized through the terms real world and pedagogical task. The distinction can be applied to all components of a task: goal, input, and activities. Both approaches will be evident in teaching and learning programs and their associated material. And material designer will want to balance them. Now, the specific nature of the skills. Each skill has a specific characteristics which affect task design. What are the skills? Reading, writing, listening, and speaking, and we're going through this in the next picture. It says reading strategies for reading, which can be practiced to prepare learners for the type of reading tasks that they will meet in natural language use, such as skimming, scanning, and inferring meaning from context. What about listening? Listening is something that by definition has to be done in real time. 2 basic language functions are transactional, that refers to concern with the transfer of information, and the interactional functions, concerned with social relationships. What about writing? A teacher may concentrate on the correctness of the final product and achieve this through giving learners activities based on copying and imitation, practicing sentence expansion, and formation of paragraphs from models. And finally, speaking. The issues from material design is separating whether and how to give some specific practice in some elements like intonation, stress, pronunciation, etc. Material for speaking have particularly affect by finding about the type of tasks that create international language use. Explicit or implicit approach. What about this? We know that an explicit approach does not only refer to the explicit references to and manipulation of the language system, but to the conception of the whole of language learning as an intellectual task, and the perception that what the learner consciously does affects the outcomes of the learning process. Now, what is the role of the learner? The protagonist, what is the learner? The learner is the protagonist of their own language. The change contribution of the learner is evident in many ways. Some are need analysis, negotiation of syllables, pair and group work, individual differences, and learning styles. What about the task difficulty? A factor that affects communicative material design is the issue of task difficulty. Noonan says in 1989, discusses that difficulties in three areas. The input factors that refers to grammatical complexity, learners factor that is about confidence, motivation, prior learning experiences, etc. And activity factors that is the relevance, the complexity, amount of contents, and available help. What about the mixed abilities you have in the classroom? One of the strategies of solution to a mixed ability class is related to the issue of task difficulty about. Different level tasks can be designed using the same input. Another possibility is to give in the same task, but in inputs in different difficulty. Other strategy of the solution to mixed ability class profound is the inclusion of open-ended tasks in the language program. I'm going to present you a summary of issues in the designing of the material. We have the communicative framework, the communicative task in language learning, explicit and implicit approach, and the internet and digital revolution. These are some of the we can mention in this. And what is now, what is an adaptation? According to Tomlinson in 1998, the excellence of material lies less in the product themselves than in the appropriate and unique toning for use that teacher may be very engaged in. This is the definition. Now, McDonald and Shaw see adaptation as a process of matching external features of a learning teaching situation to the internal features. Adaptation of material is bringing together of these individual elements under each heading. Here, personalization refers to increasing the relevance of the content in relation to learners' interests and needs. Individualization addresses the learning styles and individuals and the class as a whole. Localizing refers to adjustment that may be culturally motivated. And here are present as a chart where you can see some examples about the external and internal. In external, we have learning characteristic, physical environment, resources, class size, etc. And internal is the choice of topic, skill cover, proficiency levels, and grading of exercise, etc. These are some examples. And now, talking about techniques for adaptation. Adaptation of material is bringing together these individual elements under each heading. Personalization refers to increasing the relevance of the content in relation to learners' interests and need. Individualization addresses the learning styles of individuals and the class as a whole. Localizing refers to adjustment that may be culturally motivated. Here, we have an example of adapting model, a framework of adapting material. This is taken from McDonald and Christopher Shaw. You have the matching congruence, personalized techniques, and the content areas. This is an example. Design and adaptation of the cycle. In this picture, you can realize that it's include an evaluation, something that was not listed on the last model. In the last model that McDonald that present McDonald and Shaw, they talk about just identification, exploration, contextual realization of materials, pedagogical realization of materials, production of materials, student use of materials, but the last one, that is number 6, evaluation wasn't included. And in this case, here mentioned that evaluation is also important to have in mind, because in this way we can realize how good was the adaptation of our material. And for today is everything. I hope you have understand about this topic. And if you have any doubt, you can also check this video on YouTube, and you can have a short explanation about the same topic I have already explained. Thank you so much. Goodbye.